back. Thank you very much. Sorry for not having any more hot water or coffee. And now we're going on with another presentation about what is happening in organizations, and in particular with Fabrizia Poli. She's from Docaret. She will explain that to you. And intra-organizational communication barriers. Fabrizia, up to you.
Hello. I'm Fabrizia Poli. I work as a technical writer for 3 years, so technically I'm a junior technical writer, but I have 8 years experiences in science as a scientist in academic. So communicating and writing about complex technical concepts wasn't new to me. For sure, what was new to me as a scientist that we can do with simple words and very short sentence. But the title, in fact, I should add that the organization I'm going to talk today, but the TechCom I'm going to talk today is the organization for which I'm currently working. So somehow I'm the observer and subject of my study at the same time. The organization is, but this is the outline. At the beginning, I give a very quick introduction to put in context. Then I will describe the collaboration that our TechCom has with other partners, and some methods that we use to prevent and break down the barriers. But is a technology, the organization I'm working for at the moment is an industry that provides technology in the field of energy, has over 100 engineer development center, and high diversity, diverse environment. The technical communication department is completely separated from the other communication function of the organization, and we really produce only the technical manuals, documentation for the end user, that is also our client. In the old company, we are around 100 TechCom specialists located in several centers in Europe, in North America, and in Asia. Here to show simply the organization, so in our TechCom we have a doc manager, 3 lead specialists that coordinate the activity of a specific customer in sustaining, engineering, or rapid response. And we are 6 technical writers, 3 on site, 1 working UK and 2 working in India. This is to show a bit the main partners with who the TechCom, our TechCom interacts. Of course, depending on the partner, the extent and the nature of this collaboration can be very different. From the point of view of a technical writer, it looks more like that. Our main partners are the product developers, the client support, and the client and user. We have minimum contact with the other partners. With the product developers, we have a extremely highly collaborative highly collaborative interactions. They are our main source of information, and the creation of the manual it's really the effort of both. They put their knowledge of the product, we put the knowledge of our of the communication. With the client support, but the TechCom we interact with the client support in different moments of the life cycle of documentation. The first time during the review of the manual. A second moment is at the moment of the publication, even though it's indirect one way, simply because we do publish all our contents on the online page of the client support. And then the collaboration is after the publication. The client support can ask to the TechCom change to the documentation if there is a serious risk or problem with the product. But I have to say that the end user in our case is also part of the company. And this I want to remark, because today we talk about by product a user. Our user knows the product, has the same kind of knowledge or level knowledge of the developer. So are usually can be also engineer or specialized technician. And they interact with the TechCom also not continuously. In certain cases, they are involved in the review, what we call the field test. So the manual is sent to the user. The user that is never on site, so usually more likely is on the other side of the world, and he can send us the feedback before the publication. This doesn't happen with all the projects. And the interaction is then after the publication. Once again, the client can interact in two ways, either directly with the TechCom by submitting some feedbacks directly on the help desk of the TechCom, or indirectly through the client support. What can happen is that the client send a technical feedback, and the client support can detect that this is going to affect also the documentation, and can either redirect the feedback to the technical TechCom, or in the case of risk, to release an alert that oblige the TechCom to implement the change in a very short time. Here I reported some numbers to give you an idea. This is the number of users per year, a million of views of the client support online page. So I ask myself, which are the barriers that we have? They are quite common to the three partners. The first one is time. Technical writer, we are the only one pay for doing the documentation. Engineers or client support never have enough time to really dedicate to the documentation. The second one, for sure, in our case, the knowledge background. For sure, communication skills from the technical writer, but I have to say very often also from the engineers. It's possible to work with engineers who are not able to communicate their knowledge. The language, I've shown at the beginning that is a big organization, so even in our department, we have engineers with different cultural background and language, but also the technical terms. And then distance, that for me, distance can be the geographical distance, can be also a distance of scope, and the cultural distance. So I ask myself, so which tools a technical writer has? Certain of these resources are available, and some of them being presented this morning by Sarah. And I agree with her that I think we don't talk about enough about the soft skill or personal skill that technical writers should have, because I agree with her, I pass as much time to communicate the technical concept as to write on technical concept. The first one is the interpersonal skills. But then there is also to be able to adopt. I tell you, in 1 year in this company, I worked probably with 8 different engineers, and no one had the same way of working. You find the engineer who communicate only through email, but you have the engineer on the opposite that doesn't answer at all to emails, who prefer to make comments on PDF, who again still prefer handwritten comments on scans. So we really need to be extremely adaptable to different way of working. The planning. This is something I learned this company, and I think it's very important, the planning as well. What I was told when I joined this group, it was like, communicate your schedule at the start of the project. Tell immediately to your SME when do you need him to review the manual, when is the deadline. This is very important because it makes you save time to the engineer and also to yourself, because in this way you reduce the risk of waiting 2 weeks for an information. Pardon. And the last one is the curiosity. This also was said by Sarah this morning. And I suppose it depends also on in which company you work. In the company, in this technology company is extremely important. I don't believe you can write good technical communication, in this case of high technological company, if you don't have an understanding of the product. And this doesn't mean that you need to be engineer to write a good documentation, but for sure you need to be open to learn. For me, this is essential. And all of these soft skills, for me, has one common goal, that is to make the engineer willing to share the knowledge and to work with you. And at that point, I asked myself, is it enough? Is it enough that the technical writer acquire all these kind of skills? And my answer is no, it's not enough. It's not enough to break down these barriers. We need also the company to provide tools to improve for example, the knowledge sharing. This is something we do in our team, in our TechCom. TechCom, the engineer, the product developers, and the client support share the database. So we do have directly access to the drawing, to the specification, to all the documentation related to the product. We also, through the online page, can have direct access to the content shared by the user, best practice, share knowledge. In this case, of course, then it's up to the curiosity of the writer if you want to get better, to know better the product. And it's not only the engineer, the client support who has to share. We also share our topic map, our project plan. The product developer can any moment go and see in our topic map and our project plan at what point we are, what is the topic we are planning to put in our manual. Another tool that I think a company should absolutely, it seems obvious, but nowadays if we need to have also the proper tools, communication tools to be able to connect with all our partners. For example, from my computer, can call anyone in the company, in principle, any level of the company. We do a lot of, but I do a lot of reviewing in online, video conferences, for example. We use a lot of instant message that certain engineers definitely prefer because it's fast. Can I come see you now? No, I cannot. We use another important thing is the software calendar. Everyone in the company can update the calendar, so you know without need to ask when the engineer is on holiday, when he has meeting. And this helps a lot again to save to short the distance if that's me is not on site, but also really to save time, to be more efficient in the way you organize your project, you manage your project, documentation project. But once again, the question is enough. Is enough to have the skills and the tool. Again, this is from point of view of a technical writer. And my answer was, again, no. When I got to this company, I thought like I found a paradise for technical writers, because without any effort, I found engineers available, willing to collaborate. And I asked, oh, it's about me, but it wasn't about me. I realized immediately that this was the work of the top manager. That over the years, I've really worked hard to promote the TechCom inside the department. To make, how he did that, he simply did that practically implementing clear process on the documentation life cycle, the responsibilities, they are well known to all the partners, the author, reviewer, approver, a very clear process for the formal review, and that allows also a very well timeline control. And all these standards and guidelines that have been implemented by the doc manager were promoted to inside the department, made in a way that the TechCom process are very well known to all the parties. So over the years,
look at your screen.
Oh. Ah, mais je ne les vois pas là. Mais je pense terminer avant le backup. Okay. 10 minutes. So yeah, I realized that the doc manager had actually already worked to make the job of the technical writer on the TechCom well known to all the partners in the department, and this is also for me very important. Because I think when we talk about trust, is also because we don't make very clear what we do as a technical writer. And they cannot know, we cannot expect them to know our job, but if you have a doc manager that all the level of the management promote the TechCom job, creates really a collaborative environment. So to conclude, I want to conclude with I decided to conclude with an image because for me, when you are in a big organization, to really break down these barriers, you need all the organization to have that goal. And for me, the first one has to be company of the values of the company. The company has to promote openness, the knowledge sharing, providing possibility of open access database, and also the teamwork. But this would be not enough. This kind of culture, company culture, has to be to become part of the managerial philosophy at every level, also the level of a doc manager. And with a well-established process, and also I didn't talk about, very important for me was the upward communication. And then we need a solid framework, framework that for me are the communication channels. We need to have the tools nowadays, especially the company are so dislocated, to really be able to easily interact with all the partners and to have database. And for me, these are the three components that allows the technical writer to efficiently, effectively use his personal skill and technical skill. Without that, I don't think the technical writer can do a good job, but can break down barriers, but it's not gonna last in the long term. And that's also a reason why I didn't use the term silos, but barriers, because again, this talk is really my personal view. And barriers give me more idea of something dynamic, something that we break down, but they can rebuild the day after. And this happened, for example, because engineers change, they move, they are relocated. You are able to build a very deep, good relationship with engineer. A year later has left. So for me, silos give me more idea of something more fixed, while barriers is something really that can be built and broken down very, very, very quickly. But I would like really to thank my team leads that came today to assist my talk. Well then, of course, Docaret, all of you for the attention. Thank you.